So welcome back, Carol. I guess you had a few problems.
I did.
Yeah, no worries at all. So, I mean, let's get cracking. We can accept, I can keep my eye out for everybody who might be joining as we go along. So just to say hello again, and to any of you who really don't know me and have just kind of seen a post and thought, let's have a look at this and I'll join later. I'm Liz Doyle. I'm the Positive Change Coach. And basically what I do, I help women to love themselves in a nutshell, truly love themselves and release the negative beliefs that have been keeping them stuck in a constant loop of not feeling good enough and comparing themselves to others. So first of all, I just want to welcome you. A big heartfelt welcome, because to free up that hour in your evening is not always easy. So it's really lovely to see you, and to thank you for taking this time for yourself as well. And that's what's really, really important. And also, if you're watching the recording, welcome you too, because the energy is made, the space is made for you too. So welcome, Harriet. Hello. We're just starting. So first of all, let's just share, where are you all from? I'd love to know where everybody's from. You can pop it in the chat if that's easier, or you can just speak up, as we're still quite a small group. I know lots of people are going to watch the recording. So just who's closest to me? And I'm in Chipping Norton in Oxfordshire. So where is everyone? You can pop it in the chat if you like, or you can share it out loud.
I'm in Abingdon. I'm not far.
Yeah. Oh, you're not that far, are you, Harriet? Carol, where?
I'm in Leicestershire.
Oh, Leicestershire. Well, that's great. That's getting a bit further away. And where are you, Tracy? Whereabouts are you? You're not that far either, are you?
I'm in Benson, near
Yes.
Wallingford. Yeah,
that's not far either. Oh, Atlanta. Well, that's brilliant. Maria, I think you're winning the prize so far for the furthest away. So welcome to you. And Sharon's being overtaken by...
No
worry. Where are you from,
West
Sharon?
Yorkshire.
Oh, look. Well, you're a little bit away. Not
In
quite
the
as far
UK,
as Maria.
No.
And I'm just going to check where I think maybe, and Erin, I'm not sure where. Oh, Ontario, fantastic, Erin. So I'm not sure. Out of the two of you, you can kind of compete, see who's the furthest, really. So that's wonderful. It's lovely just to find out where everyone's from, really, just so that, because sometimes, as much as I love Zoom and I love doing stuff online, I really do. Sometimes, it's nice to get those extra connections. So I'm really looking forward to guiding you through this session to help you uncover and overcome your sabotages around food and maybe booze as well, to create a life of freedom. It's really funny how many people think I've always been on the slimmer side. And when they see me eat, they say things like, oh, you can just eat anything and you never put on weight. But that definitely has not been the case in the past in my life. But more of that in a minute. But remember that I will pick one person from tonight's live call for a very special prize giveaway as well. So, and even extra incentive to stay on the call. And again, please feel free to share in the chat box any comments or questions as we go along as well. So don't feel that you've got to wait to the end or you're not going to get your questions answered. So please feel free to pop any questions you have. I will try to keep my eye out for them as we're going on. Now, first of all, there won't be any slides this evening. So mainly because, well, the last masterclass I ran, they all went horribly wrong. And I spent an awful lot of time putting these slides together. And I kind of thought afterwards, what was that all about, to be entirely honest? Because I don't actually use them in my coaching. And I also have always kind of had this feeling that they actually get in the way. I don't know about you, but if you've ever watched anything, you can't really connect with the people on the call. That's how I feel anyway. And also you can't really connect to me if I'm just a little square on your screen. So that's my excuse anyway. There's no slides at all. But the thing is, we will be doing some really interesting awareness exercises. So, there will be involvement. So who here is an emotional eater? Okay, and no judgment, remember, there is no judgment here whatsoever. Maybe you restrict what you eat and then binge eat. Do you suspect that you're sabotaging yourself, but don't even know how or why you're doing it? Do you wonder why you might lack motivation? And do you want to understand why you hold yourself back from achieving the healthy weight you want? Now, most of the time, where you are now is down to your own unconscious acts of self-sabotage. Or you might even be aware that you are self-sabotaging and you just want to stop this from controlling you. And I know just how that feels because I have been there for many, many years. When I was about 16, I started putting on weight. So a long time ago. I'm not really sure why at that age. I guess I was becoming, the normal thing, I was becoming less active and I was definitely eating more and more rubbish stuff, I suppose. But when I was 18, that's when I saw a big change because there were huge stresses at home. My dad went bankrupt for the second time and we lost our home, everything, which definitely made me eat more, run to the biscuit tin. We actually had a biscuit cupboard, so say no more to that. It was around that age when the dieting just took over my life. I'd lose the weight and I'd put it back on again, over and over and over again. I started to hate my body and I'd compare myself to my much taller and much slimmer friend literally all the time. I'd actually compare myself to everyone else because I got this idea in my head that I was the only short and chubby one around. There was nothing I liked about my body. And over the years, I think I've tried an awful lot of diets and other ways to lose weight. I can't say I've done them all because there are an awful lot out there, aren't there? But this is some of the things I tried. And if you've tried any of these, then just please jump in the chat box and, come along with me. So I had at a Harley Street clinic when I was 17, I had injections in my bottom. I mean, I still kind of cringe when I think about that one. I went on the Edam and orange diet. I don't know if anyone's heard of that one. I think I may have made that up when I look back, but I didn't try the cabbage soup diet because that was just sounded too gross. I took diet pills. I went on a very famous low fat diet, which ended up back in the day, it was very, very high in sugar. And I don't want to, look, we've got some Limits. Oh, I do remember Limits biscuits. Yes. I probably bought those as well because I literally tried so much. And the high carb, high sugar, of course, it just really was caused a lot of damage. When I got sick with colitis, I still have a little bit of shame around that. The plus side of it is that I lost a lot of weight. And I like that, but I was very, very ill when I was breastfeeding. So when my first daughter, after a few months of breastfeeding, I noticed I was just losing all this weight. And I thought, oh, this is nice. And when I had my second daughter, I thought it was going to happen again, but it didn't. And that was hugely disappointing. And with my third daughter as well, it didn't happen then. So, those are the things that you can go into. I tried hypnotherapy, a vibrating belly belt thing. I won't say the trade name. I even tried sniffing pens. That really still makes me laugh because they smelled nice. I've got no idea if they did anything at all. Detox. I went on lots of detoxes, a few fasts. So there were, of course, lots of healthier long-term plans, but because my thinking wasn't right, the weight always went back on again. At Christmas, I'd binge on chocolate, mince pies, you name it, thinking I'm going to diet in the new year. Anybody else say that to themselves? I remember many a time eating secretly in the kitchen as well. And in the summer, I kind of eat ice cream, cakes, drink lots of nice rosé wines, not just on holiday, but all through the summer, almost thinking that I had no willpower and, I just gave in. And I definitely self-medicated with chocolate, biscuits and wine over the years when I felt lonely and depressed. Now, if anybody else resonates with that, then you're in the right place. So where did things start to change? Well, around 10 or 12 years ago, roughly speaking, I started a journey of really self-discovery and self-love. I know it may sound a bit cheesy, but I just started to love and appreciate me and my body more. I stopped dieting. I chucked out the bathroom scales. I started to make healthier choices when I was eating. And I started to exercise because I wanted to, not because I felt I had to. Now, I'm not saying I'm super slim and I'm not super fit, but what I am is really happy for the first time in my life, and it's been like this for a long, long time now, with my size, and I feel strong and fit and energetic. Well, most of the time anyway. Later on, having discovered Louise Hay and training to become licensed to share her teachings, I discovered that her philosophies about our bodies were so aligned to my own beliefs and experience about body image. And since then, I've been thinking, why not create a course to share this with other women? And so that's what I did. And I've called it 21 Days to Letting Go of the Weight, and putting together Louise's philosophies and my own experiences and knowledge. You know, that's really what this course is about. Men can do this course. I'm not stopping them, but I think women especially are bombarded with messages of not looking the right way from a very early age. And the situation is only getting worse, much worse. I mean, the only other day, sometimes when I cringe, when I see what goes on social media, and I think when I look back and how much I hated my body back then, I don't know what I would be like with all the social media 24/7 on us. So tonight we're going to take a closer look at emotional eating and why and even how we self-sabotage. Understanding what triggers us can be such a game changer to letting go of the weight once and for all. Now, these are in my online course. I've added a few extra little bits from the course as well, but I'll talk about that later. So let's dive straight in. You've all got your notebooks and your pens with you. But first of all, I'm actually going to kick off with a very short meditation, because meditation plays a really important part of my coaching and also on my online course. So I want to introduce it here. Meditation is such a powerful technique for relaxing the body and rejuvenating our energy. That's why I highly recommend that my clients meditate during and after my course and the coaching if they don't already. Also, there is research showing that people who started meditating and were overweight, they actually started to achieve their ideal weight without going on any specific program, which I think is quite interesting. So what's not to love about that, really? So let's get ourselves really comfortable where you're sitting, as comfortable as you can, and just close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and out. And just focus on the gentle in and out of your breath. Allow yourself to relax completely. With every exhale, breathe out any tension, discomfort, or preoccupation you may have. And with every inhale, breathe in a deep sense of relaxation. Allow your body to relax completely. You are not stopping your mind from thinking while you meditate. We can't stop the mind, but we can slow down our thoughts and let them flow through. We can get to a state where we are watching our thoughts float by. If other thoughts come to the surface, you can notice them without judgment. Try not to give them any importance. Let the thoughts float by. As we begin this session to uncover why you sabotage yourself and what is the story behind your emotional eating, you are building a deeper connection with yourself. Let's take a moment to reconnect with the center of our own being. Self-love is the biggest gift we can give to ourselves. When we learn to treat ourselves as someone we love dearly, life becomes more enriching and beautiful for us. Self-love is simply appreciating the miracle of your own being. Self-love is accepting all parts of yourself unconditionally. You no longer wait to be perfect to accept yourself. You learn to accept and rejoice in yourself just the way you are. right here and right now. The thoughts you think and the words you speak are incredibly powerful. The point of power is always in the present moment. So the time to make the change is right here and now. Today is a new day. Today is a day for you to begin creating a life where you're free of restrictions, free to be who you were born to be. Today is the day to begin to release all your limitations. Today is the day for you to learn the secrets of life. Thank yourself for making this commitment to yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Now gently bring your awareness back to this time and space and your own wounds. And when you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. Wonderful. I love that. Is that the tail? I'm just loving this. Oh, it's hilarious actually watching that screen for Sharon. Very
I didn't
entertaining.
realise.
No,
I'm
it's
really
fine.
sorry.
Absolutely.
It's his paw. He's giving you all a high five, you know.
I was wondering, I was thinking that can't be his tail. That is so funny. Excellent. There's nothing like live TV. That is absolutely perfect. So how do we find that? I mean, if you're used to meditating, it's quite easy just to switch into it. But if it's new and weird for you, I really understand that too, because it took me a while. So, you know, if it's something that you enjoyed, again, just share in the chat box how you find meditating, or you find it a little bit strange, but feel free just to pop anything you want to as we go along. And welcome, Suzanne. I know you joined us just in the middle of that, so it must have seemed a bit weird. So welcome to you as well. So now we're in that, okay, lovely to have you here. So now we're in that, hopefully a little bit of quieter space. We're going to start with our first awareness exercise. And magic happens on the other side of awareness. Yeah. Oh, that's great, Maria. Yes. I think meditation is, and it doesn't matter, you know, the big thing, there's no big mystery with meditation. So that, I think that's my biggest word of advice. You can't get it wrong. So just give it a go. So let's have our journals or your notepads ready to write in. And we're just going to go in because, as I said, magic does happen on the other side of awareness. And just try and stay in that centered space that, you know, you've created for yourself, if possible. I'm going to be making some statements, and I'd like you to repeat them out loud, which would be great. If you are muted or you want to mute yourself, then feel free to do that, you know, to be muted if you don't want others to hear you. But actually connecting with all our senses is really important to help with our subconscious absorb what's going on. And if anything resonates with you or triggers you in any way, obviously those are the ones that are your little, as I would call them, your treasures, because those are the ones that are really holding you back. But what I would like you to do when you've repeated the statement out loud is then to write in your journal, never, sometimes, or always. So in other words, is this how you feel after that statement? Is this something that you feel always, sometimes, or never? You can write down the statement too, but don't worry about that too much, as I will send these out to you after the session. So you're going to get this list afterwards, because it's something you could revisit if you wanted to, because they're very, very powerful. And as I said, some of the statements will resonate and some of them won't. And that's okay, because there's no right or wrong here. This is just your own reactions, and there's no getting it right, in other words. So again, so after repeating the statement out loud, just write down never, sometimes, or always. Okay. Right, let's go. I eat or drink to numb myself.
I eat or drink to numb myself.
I feel that my eating is out of control.
I feel that my eating is out of control.
Carol, if it's okay with you, I'll just mute you. That's okay. And then you're, no, you're fine. I've muted you. That's fine. And then that way you're in that quiet space as well. And not, and that's better for you. And I spend a lot of energy to listening to other people's problems. I feel depressed when I have eaten too much. I allow people to criticize me. I restrict my food intake and then blow it all on a huge binge. I don't have time to exercise. I don't feel like I have really good friends. I hate myself for my eating habits, which makes me eat more. I compare myself to others. I use my weight as an excuse. I put my needs aside to make others feel better. I either starve myself or I stuff my face. I feel unworthy around other people. I eat even when I'm not hungry. I go to bed far too late, even when it makes me feel bad. I hide behind my weight. I'm always hungry. I buy nice clothes for others, but never for me. I avoid conflict at all costs. I eat when I'm upset. I don't let myself receive pleasure. I'm often in denial about my food intake. I hate myself for my lack of self-control. I take things very personally. I see food or alcohol as my friend. I hate exercising in public because I don't want people seeing my body. I snack on sugary foods when I'm tired. I wear ill-fitting clothes. I think that people are talking about me. I eat until I'm uncomfortably full. I obsess over things I've said or done in the past. I worry about what other people think of me. I feel ashamed about how much I eat. I'm constantly putting myself down in front of others. I stuff myself with bad food when I'm worrying about something. I say yes, even when I want to say no. I eat in secret. I put others first and then feel resentful. I burn myself out by working long hours and then eat late at night. I feel like my best isn't good enough. I think what's in the fridge will make me feel better. I keep old friendships even though they drag me down. I feel guilty that I eat so much compared to others. I carry extra weight because I don't want to be visible. I often think nobody likes me when I go into a new group. I self-medicate with chocolate or wine. I still get angry over old situations. I eat when I'm stressed. I don't eat regular meals because I'm too busy. I have a lot of negative self-talk. I struggle to stay positive about my eating habits. I feel like a fraud. I can't enjoy my weekends because I'm thinking about food. I walk around with a low-grade anxiety all the time. So that was the last one. Some heavy stuff in there, wasn't there? I was like feeling the energy kind of weighing me down as I was kind of saying them out loud myself. And there were quite a few in there, and they're kind of some like not necessarily you'd think to do with eating, but these are all things that we can sabotage and what can affect our emotional eating and so on. And of course, these are the triggers that you have. It's going to be different things for different people, of course. So we need to kind of have a range. So how did we have quite a few always? Did we have quite a few? Okay. Hang on. We've got somebody coming in. They've just missed the heavy one, haven't they? But yeah, if you found that you did have, that's okay, because you found some treasures in there. And as I said, I'll send you out this list, all of those lovely ones again, so that you can just sit with yourself quietly, and remember to be really gentle with yourself. If you remember the ones that really triggered you, why not write them down in your journal? And as I said, there is no judgment here. You are. I'm glad. Sorry, I've just seen your comment, Harriet. I'm glad you like meditating. Yes, I do too. So, and anything that came up for you there, if you want to share anything in the chat box, I appreciate you might not want to if you don't want to, but at the same time, please feel free to do so, because sometimes it's good to share, because it will help others knowing that they're not on their own, because that's often what the case is, that we think it's only us going through all this. Also, accept the results as information. It's really important not to criticize yourself, because as time goes on, you are going to develop strategies for dealing with emotional eating. And I think we can all be emotional eaters. And I am still at times, and that's okay. The difference is I will allow those situations to happen when I'm feeling low for whatever reason. But the difference from when I used to emotionally eat all the time is I let those feelings visit. Like someone who pops in that you're not really that crazy about, but you make them a cup of tea anyway. I let all those feelings visit, but I don't let them move in. They can come around for a cup of tea, but then they're out the door again. And I have the power, not the other way around. And it really is something, when we accept those feelings for what they are. And if you find that you are emotionally, the more you kind of accept it and not try to fight it, that is such a powerful thing. And this can be a really difficult area to look at, and it can bring up quite a lot of emotion. So I want you to be really gentle with yourself as you process the information you're looking at. I know how lonely these feelings are, how alone you can feel. I kind of felt that other people really didn't understand me, or I didn't really want to talk about it because I was really worried about what people would think about me. And when I was married, I had such little support and only really, really terrible criticism, that it was very difficult not to be really ashamed about my feelings and that self-destructive behavior. But I did change. And sometimes that feels like a miracle when I look back, to be honest. And I did change, and so can you. So if you feel there's nobody to support you and people don't understand, just know you're not on your own. You're with others that get you. And that's really, really important to, good. I'm glad. Thank you, Harriet. It's nice to hear that, because sometimes, even reliving those moments, looking back, it was really, really quite difficult. And so I think it's really important to know you're not on your own. Now we want to look at all those old stories that are behind the emotional eating. What were you told growing up, or by others as a teenager, or maybe as a young adult? What is the original story that's going on here? Now, this can take a bit of time and patience. And so it's really important to be really, again, very gentle with yourself as you're doing this. So for instance, I was told when I was a child a lot, finish everything on your plate. Think of all the starving children in the world. I don't know, anyone ever get that one told to you by your parents? I don't think there are many that don't. And I think I probably did it to my kids as well, because before I kind of really discovered how these messages we send to other people, how they can affect them. But the thing is, even if they were well-intentioned, so they weren't, we weren't being, they were said in a way to kind of make us mindful of others and to realize how lucky we were, how blessed we were to have the food. But unfortunately, the negative side of those messages, they kind of start to stick somewhere deep in our subconscious. And then we find them repeating themselves over and over again. And we think, without even actually thinking, we empty our plate every time. We clear our plate. And those are the kind of stories we need to go back and have a look at to see that we can start to peel back on them. So where do your old stories about food and your body come from? So again, have your journals or notebooks ready, as I'm going to ask you a few questions. Okay. You can write down the questions and then just write down with whatever comes up for you in response, because this is, write as if no one's ever going to read it again, not even you, because that way then you really will you'll really be amazed by what might come up for you. It's always fascinating. So first of all, do your old stories and patterns come from your upbringing or family patterns? So write down that question for yourself. Do your old stories and patterns come from your upbringing or family patterns? And if so, how? And I'll just give you a minute just to kind of write something down there, just to see what comes up. You may just want to write yes, but you might actually, something might pop into your head. For instance, I had a client that she said that every time she got angry as a child, her mum would give her something to eat. And so as she grew up, she used to go to the fridge every time she got angry, because she didn't feel that she could express that anger. So she just squashed it down with food. So it's that sort of thing. So anything come up for you at all with that? So do they come from culture, religion, or societal influences around you? So any of those patterns, those stories, do they come from other areas in society or our culture, depending on what culture you come from? And again, there's no wrong or right to any of this. These are your own response, so they can be nothing but helpful to you. Okay. Or could they come from the TV or movies? And I know this may sound a bit weird, but how many times have we seen problems solved by getting a huge tub of ice cream out the freezer and sitting down and just eating the whole tub? Those messages get stored. Or maybe opening, I mean, how many times you've seen people go straight to the fridge and pour themselves a huge glass of wine when they're going through something stressful or really upsetting. So all these messages we get bombarded by in life, that food can solve some sort of problem, or wine can help us forget. And they do for a while, but they're, as we soon learn, they're not the answer. Or were there experiences around school or work that triggered you to reach for food to help? So was there anything around that happened with teachers, your peers at school, people you worked with, work-related bullying, or even at school being bullied, and that made you go to eat, and then these patterns get repeated in life? So where do these old stories come from? Or did other people's negative beliefs come into play with your old stories and patterns? Because even though they're not our beliefs, they have an effect on us, and they can become our beliefs, but they didn't start off being our beliefs. They came from someone else. So fantastic. Well done. I know we are having a really quick tour through this, so you can go back and go over these later on, but they are really good it's a really good idea to take that time with it. So did anything kind of pop in? I mean, again, no pressure, but anything at all you might want to share that came up, please feel free to pop it into the chat box. And it wasn't so clear cut, this one, because, we are kind of having to open, look back, and sometimes we might have a real aha moment and go, oh, wow, that's interesting. I never even thought of that. But you might not have that yet, and that's okay. It's a really good one to go back to again and again sometimes, but you might find now that something will happen, like And you'll think, actually, that's really interesting. I kind of remember where did I first hear that? And we are looking at some powerful stuff here. So really take your time with it. The old story creates the sabotage in your life. And we want to change the pattern, because that's going to equal changing your relationship with your body and food. So why or how do we self-sabotage? Well, the inner saboteur is the voice in your head that generates negative emotions in the way you handle life's everyday challenges. And of course, we're talking about how it affects our attempts to get to the weight we want, and how we want to feel. But it affects every area of our lives. The inner saboteur represents automated patterns in your mind of how to think, how to feel, and how to respond. It causes your stress, anxiety, self-doubt, frustration, restlessness, and unhappiness. So I'm going to ask you now to write down what comes up for you when I make a few of these suggestions of what kind of self-saboteur or inner critic you have. Okay. So number one, you beat yourself up over repeated mistakes. The voice obsessively warns you about future risks. It causes you to worry and become easily obsessed and fixated on negativity. That inner voice is an enemy. It's not on your side, is it? Or it could be that you might feel like a victim, the inner saboteur, the victim inner saboteur. Doesn't feel accepted. It tries to attract attention, affection, through attention. It focuses on painful internal feelings, and when criticized, it tends to withdraw. The victim feels alone, isolated, sad, and abandoned. It feels frustrated, helpless, and guilty. And I've definitely been there, so I'm owning up first. I definitely know how that inner saboteur works. And it kind of creeps back in now and again. So, we're always working on this stuff. Or it could be that inner voice that tries to gain acceptance and affection by helping others. This meets its emotional needs. It pleases, it flatters, and it rescues. This saboteur loses sight of its own needs and it becomes resentful as well. It has a strong need to be liked by others and is bothered when others do not care what it has done. Or it could be the avoider self-saboteur, and that focuses on the pleasant and positive and avoids the difficult and unpleasant. It has difficulty saying no, resists others, it prefers comfort and routine, and procrastinates when tasks are not pleasant. And the avoider will suppress anger and resentment rather than express these emotions. It avoids conflict and negative relationships. Right, so hopefully that was a little bit interesting and insightful. Hopefully like little things are coming up and saying, oh, this is, because as I said, awareness is where you first want to be. Not everyone is affected by all of what we just looked at, and definitely not all at the same time and in the same way. Different people are affected by different types of saboteurs. But the first one is the most common one that can affect us all. Yes, absolutely. I've done this exactly the same, Harriet. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe sometimes in the same day or the same hour. It's, that one, the first one is definitely the most common. And it's the one that can affect us all. So how do we stop sabotaging ourselves? Yes, that's what we want to know. While self-sabotaging is definitely an unhealthy behaviour, it's very, very common and pretty normal. And it can be stopped. So I'm going to take you through 6 steps of how to do that. Okay. I'm going to take longer on number 1, because number 1 is number 1 for a reason. So number 1 is awareness. If you're not aware of what's going on, then how can you change it? That's why I say magic happens on the other side of awareness. It really does. When you go to the fridge, cupboard, or wherever you go to get your fix, just stop and gently ask yourself, why are you doing this? What is triggering you? What is the old story that's going on? Can you breathe through it? Maybe journal about it. And I'm actually not saying not to eat or drink what you want, but be aware of the stories behind it and how you feel. You know, so often we numb ourselves with food and alcohol so that we don't have to think about that thing or have that feeling that we don't want to have. But sitting with the feeling, I know it's not pleasant, but by facing up to it, you can move through it. You will start to discover you don't need to self-medicate or numb yourself with sugar, carbs, or wine. You are far more powerful than you think. And trust me, for me to say that, that is a really big thing, because I've been there. So number 2, and so a lot of the other ones are much shorter. So number 2, set meaningful goals and pair them with an action plan. A very simple plan is always best. Now, you hear about setting goals all the time, but these can be really small, measurable goals. It helps you keep a little bit of focus. I'll have a sip of water while. Okay. Number 3, make small changes over time. This is not a race. And it's not just behavioural changes that I'm talking about as well. It all needs to come together. But it's those small changes that are taken over a long period of time that really will, it's life-changing rather than just this kind of losing weight, yo-yo dieting sort of idea. Number 4, one of my favourites, be your own best friend. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself as you are changing, because believe me, you will be changing. And this is so, so important. And if you have a setback, what would you say to your best friend if they had a setback? Say it's okay. We all have setbacks. I'm with you on this, and you can do this. So, you know, remember that next time that person, you know, that little inner voice starts to give you a hard time. Number 5, remind yourself of all you have done and all you can do, rather than always dwelling on what you haven't done. So number 5, I think I've got 2 number 5s, so maybe it's not 7 tips I'm giving here. I'm not sure now. I've lost count, so you'll have maybe you could tell me how many we've got going on here. So the next one, whatever number it is, number 5 I've got, but I think it's number 6. But anyway, practice self-care. It's another huge one. We hear it all the time, don't we? But self-care is essential. It really is essential. See it as part of your life. You know, it could be meditation, practicing self-love as much as you can, and mindfulness, taking time for you, and doing stuff you want to do. These are all self-care. These are all things that you can do as part of your self-care. So what is it that you want to do to look after yourself? Really, really important. And I've got number 6, or it could be number 7, who knows? Get support. Really, really important. Get support, whatever way that will work for you. It could be from your friends, could be from some sort of group. It could be from therapy, coaching, or a course, but get support so you don't feel like you're on your own. So gently challenge your way of thinking and your behaviours, while remembering to be really kind to yourself. So for those of you who know of Louise Hay's work, you may be surprised I haven't actually mentioned affirmations yet. But this is on my course, of course. But this is one really, really simple one and super easy affirmation to say out loud to yourself every day. And even better when you're looking into a mirror. I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. So you may want to make a note of that and give it a go. And you could be quite amazed at the changes if you do that every day, and maybe a few times a day. Okay, wonderful. I'm now going to take you through another short meditation from from my online course itself, and it's called Overcoming Self-Doubt and Self-Sabotage. So it's very on point for this evening. So where you're sitting, just get yourself really comfortable again, just so you're going into that quiet space. And well done, by the way. Well done. Okay. And just give this time to yourself. Gently closing your eyes, taking a few breaths and settling your spirit. Are you feeling unsure of yourself, full of self-doubt, vulnerable? Step into that feeling. Lean into it and recognize it. Is it sadness, shame, helplessness, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, frustration? Lean into these feelings. Choose awareness as much as possible. What are the feelings in your body right now? Breathe into that feeling. Ride the waves of the reaction. Stay present with it, and it will subside. Let's take 6 deep breaths. In and out. 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 As you start to calm, reflect on what has triggered you. What is the pattern here? Allow yourself to calm your nervous system. Let it regulate your emotion. You are safe. Repeat silently after me. I am in the process of change. I can think, therefore I can change. I choose optimism over pessimism. I am capable and resourceful. Every life experience is a learning experience. I am not my feelings. I am not my emotions. I am not my thoughts. I have them. They are not me. Take another deep breath in and breathe out with a sigh. Treat doubt as a friendly reminder. The mind, body, emotions, and spirit are all connected. The subconscious mind is linked to those gut feelings. When something sudden happens, don't you immediately get a strong feeling in your gut? Ever since we were little children, every message we have received, everything we have done, all the experiences we have had, all that we have said, have all gone into the filing cabinet right there in the subconscious, and in our gut. When we think thoughts or have experiences, the messages go in and are filed in the appropriate files. For many of us, we have been building up files labeled, I'm not good enough, I'm too big, I'll never make it, I don't do it right, I can't speak up, I don't matter. We become buried under these files. When we start saying our positive affirmations, such as, I am wonderful and I love myself, the subconscious says, what's this? Where does it go? We've never seen this one before. Doubt picks up the messages and asks the subconscious mind, what's this? You have been always saying other things. And we can react in two ways. We can say, oh, you're right, I'm terrible, I'm no good, and go back to our old ways. Or we can say to doubt, that was the old message. I have no need for it now. This is the new message. Tell your subconscious to start a new file, because there will be lots of these loving messages coming through from now on. Learn to treat doubt and your subconscious as a friend, not the enemy. And thank it for questioning you. Make a commitment to yourself that from this moment forward, as many of your I am statements are positive and empowering as possible. Repeat silently after me. I am creating my ideal life. I am capable of creating whatever I want. I am free of self-sabotage. I am powerful. I am my best friend. I am listening to my inner wisdom. I am always doing my best, and that's always good enough. I see what the woman looks like, living the life I deserve. How would I live my life as this woman? Who would she be? I embody this. I let my muscles build this muscle memory. I can learn to become the person living my dreams. I am winning at the game of life. Take a deep breath in and out. Know this to be true. Gently remind your subconscious that it is safe for you to love yourself and to praise yourself. It's okay to doubt yourself, but you now have the tools to bring yourself back to this moment and to remind yourself that you are safe and you have the power to change. You are setting down new neural pathways, and practice makes permanent. Know this to be true. Now take a deep breath in and out. Open your eyes and say out loud, I am free. I am free. Okay, I still do this work every day and how it's all changed my life, not just around my body and my relationship with food and drink. It's just incredible, really. I love food, but it no longer has that old control over me? And what would you like your life to look like for you? You know, breaking through those old beliefs, having the body you deserve, never having to go on a diet again, and letting go of the emotional eating, you know, increasing your feelings of self-worth. Do you want to love your body and your relationship with food? It's really, really possible. But first, you need to deal with your stuff, the stuff you're holding on to that can be released and let go of, so you can let go of the weight. Tonight, we have looked at emotional eating and how we self-sabotage ourselves. This has made a massive difference to my life and to letting go of the weight once and for all. I can honestly say I think less about food, other than really enjoying its taste. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy my food and its goodness more and more. From going through these awareness exercises and meditations, you can imagine how aligned my thinking, especially around the subject of our bodies and weight, I was when I started getting immersed into the world of Louise Hay. And if you've not heard of Louise Hay, don't worry, you don't need to know who she is. Suffice to say, I realized that I wanted to share with other women, mainly, my knowledge and experience, as well as the life-changing philosophies of this amazing woman, Louise Hay. And that is 21 days to letting go of the weight. And this course is made up of 21 days of awareness exercises and 21 meditations to set you on that journey to release the weight once for all. So this is the little bit of the sales bit, and then we'll be winding up. You have already heard a small section of this course this evening. So what do you do if you lose your car keys? Well, you do everything to find them, don't you? You know, if you lost your phone, goodness, what do we do without our phones nowadays? You'd be searching everywhere to get it back. So the messages we send to our subconscious when we constantly talk about losing weight is, I'm losing weight. I need to find it again. I need to get it back. So maybe that explains why you might always be putting on the weight after you've lost it. Your subconscious is busy looking for it again. How about letting go of the weight or releasing it for good? Each day, you will get access to watching a short video with awareness exercises. I will take you through step by step the whole program of how you can start this beautiful journey to literally change your thinking, to change your body. There will be a recording of a short meditation, which I encourage you to listen to at least once, but the more the better, of course. There will be a fabulous loving book which accompanies the entire course. In addition to all the videos, meditations, and the loving book, there's also a bonus video and a freebie 1 week after the course ends to help you with your journey even more. This course will give you the behavioral, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual skills to have the body you want. Now, I'm not an expert on diet plans or exercise routines or the specifics on metabolism. That's not what this course is really about. This is about looking at how our subconscious works and how it's been running the show up until now. And this program has been in the beta mode up until now. In other words, the early stages of development. The beta stage has now come to an end, but I'm offering the reduced entry point investment until Sunday. As a new member joining before Sunday night, you will have access to the course's lifetime, access to all content, and you'll receive any future updates made to the course. There will be a weekly group coaching call as well, where you'll be gently guided through each step of releasing the weight once and for all. And these calls have an overarching theme, if that makes sense. They work for someone who's brand new and long-term members who need a refresh. So even though the course is called 21 days to letting go of the weight, it doesn't mean you have to do it in 21 days. You take as long as you need. There is a private members only Facebook group, which you have the opportunity to be a part of, and only if you wish, of course. But it is a dedicated space for everyone to engage and support each other. And I think it's very powerful because it's not just through the course, it's way beyond. You will also have access to additional resources and inspiration to assist you at various stages of your journey in that group. And I see that group growing and being invaluable for support and to inspire others, as it will, open to you for as long as you want to be part of. So you've got access to it for as long as you want. And I see this way more than just being 21 days, but a complete life-changing program. And as I said, the focus of this course is on the mental, emotional, spiritual, and behavioural skills you need to live a life without diets. I'm not offering the newest diet gimmick. This is a program to help you lay the foundation for positive change. And during the course, I will help you shift from being a victim to being a winner in life. Now, the starter program is £145 for the course. And from Sunday night, the program will be at the full price of £245. So you will receive a saving of £100. So I'll pop the link into the chat box. From that link, you can choose the starter or the premium, but I won't go into that now. You can see that for yourself. So I know we've gone a little bit over, so apologies, but I hope you found some worth in it. I'm going to wrap up, and I will be picking from a hat one of you lovely ladies to receive a very special free coaching session one-to-one with me. So are you ready to break through your relationship with your body and food without fear, shame, or self-sabotage? On this course, we will look at the neuroscience, the positive psychology, and the spirituality to help you uncover the real reasons for your emotional eating, as well as the self-sabotage. You will discover how you can literally rewire your brain and create permanent positive change to have the healthy, vibrant body you deserve. I will be with you every step of the way because I know what it's like. I've been where you are now. I know how lonely that is. If you're ready to create the body and the life you deserve, then join me in this journey to releasing the weight once and for all. This is your time. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'll pop the little link into your. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much. It's lovely to know. I'll pop it in there. But I will be sending out the replay to everybody. So the link will be in there too. So you have to, it's a Sunday evening to make your mind up. And obviously, if you have any questions between now and then, just drop me an email and we can even jump on a quick call and have a chat about it, if that will help. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. Oh, thank you, Harriet. That's lovely. Oh, bless you. Oh, that's brilliant. Wonderful. I'm really, because that's what it's about. I want you to have value, whatever you decide to do. I want you to have something to take away with you this evening. That's really important. So thanks again, everyone, and much love, and enjoy the rest of your evening, please. Take care.